So we're gonna start off with a sirloin and a ribeye. What I'm doing here is I'm just poking some holes in the sirloin just to help it tenderize and absorb more of the seasonings that we're gonna use. Right now all we're gonna use is just some sea salt, just what we wanna do is just pour the salt and let it sit for a bit. Make sure it gets all over the steaks. I'm not gonna put as much on the sirloin as I'm doing the ribeye, just because as per request of my girlfriend, she doesn't want much seasoning on her steak. Now I do. I'm gonna roll my ribeye all over the salt, one side on the other, and on the laterals as well. Right now, the only thing that we're gonna be putting on it is salt, just because we want the salt to penetrate as much as we can, and then we're just gonna let them sit. Later on, we can put some pepper and some garlic powder. Okay, so now what we got is some jalapenos, maybe some cream cheese, and shredded cheese. So what we're gonna do is some jalapeno poppers, and we're gonna wrap them up with bacon. So now we're just gonna fill them up with some cream cheese. The only reason I did this canoe style cut was just because I figured it'd be a little easier to manage. Spread the cream cheese, and that way whenever it's cooking, it's not falling apart or anything like that. They can just sit there in the air fryer. So I felt like this cut was a little bit easier. And remember, folks, later on in the video, we'll be doing some corn on the cob as well. So stay tuned. Now we're just gonna finish filling these up. I'm gonna add a little bit some shredded cheese as well, so that way we can have two different types of cheese, salty and sweet. After we put on the shredded cheese, now we just gotta put the lid on them, wrap them with bacon, and put some toothpicks so that way they don't fall off. Here they are. We're gonna put them in the air fryer. Now, I didn't know exactly for how long and at what temperature to put them in. And, that can just be fixed later on. Just keep an eye on them. I personally put it for 10 minutes at 290 degrees. Now, when I checked them, they weren't that much done, so I upped it out to 320. Here they are. See, they don't look very much done. They got a little bit more longer. And now, since the steaks have been sitting, they've been marinating in that salt, we're going to add some freshly ground black pepper. Again, as per request of my girlfriend, she didn't want much seasoning on her steak. I do want a lot on mine. I personally love granulated garlic on my steak. I love it. It contributes a lot to flavor. And, I mean, who doesn't like garlic? Am I right? But yeah, season both sides. I forgot to record the other side. I'm still new to this recording stuff. But let's just assume you saw me do it. And now for some ASMR. I want you to hear that noise whenever we put it on the grill. Now, I did realize that I did forget to turn on this side of the burner, so this noise isn't going to sound very good, but this one here does. Now listen to that. If that does not sound good, I don't know what does. They've been sitting here for a bit. I'm trying to cook the sirloin a little bit longer as well, just because my girlfriend is pregnant, so she can't be eating as much raw food and stuff like that due to the bacteria. But yes, I personally like my steak medium rare. As you can hear in the background, my apologies for that noise. Those are my girlfriend's daughters, and my girlfriend screaming at them. Now here we're going to take a look at the steaks, see how they're doing. Like I said, I forgot to turn on this part of the stove, but this one over here looks amazing. take a look. Like I said, we're gonna be doing some corn. Now we're just gonna let that boil with a little bit of salt. Soften them up a little bit because these were frozen as well. While those are cooking, we're gonna cut up some steak. My ribeye, my juicy ribeye. Yum. Let's see how that's turning out. Now this is exactly what we're looking for. Let me just take a bite. You know I had to do it. My apologies. Now let's check the sirloin. So now after we cut all of this up, all we gotta do is do some plating. We're gonna be doing 2 different types of corn. All right. So my girlfriend just wants plain butter and salt. Mine, I'm gonna be doing some mayo, some cotija cheese, maybe a little bit of paprika just to see how it does. We're just gonna be rotating and rotating, make sure it gets some nice char, a little bit of browning, make it more delicious and nutty. Now onto my corn. Like I said, I'm gonna brush it up with some mayonnaise. We got the steak, we got the jalapenos. Everything is looking delicious. I'm voicing this over the next day, and now that I'm looking at this plate, I'm like, I should probably make another one. That corn was delicious. It looks amazing. Ribeyes, you already know the ribeye is amazing. Look at that color. And the jalapeno, I gotta admit, I'm not much of a fan of jalapenos, but these turned out really, really good. Although next time I will say what I would do differently is instead of using cream cheese, just use all the cheese to be shredded cheese, something saltier. The sweetness didn't go bad with it, but I felt like if it would have been with shredded cheese, it would be better. So here we are, folks. We're just gonna eat. That's all that's left to do. Try these jalapeno poppers. Honestly, like I've said before, I'm not really much of a fan of jalapenos, but for some reason these sounded really, really, really good. And I went ahead and made them, and they clearly are. As you can see, I'm enjoying myself. Steak, you know the steak. We gotta give it a bite. We already know how the ribeye is gonna taste. It's gonna taste phenomenal. Now, when I get into the corn, that's where the big deal is gonna be. I like myself some corn. I usually don't eat it as much, but anyways, thank you folks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you for next video. Bye bye.